The video you're currently watching has been fully edited into a little program called Davinci Resolve, which you may have heard of at least once or twice here on YouTube, as it's been kinda taking YouTube by storm. Online content creation has been evolving like crazy lately, and that is not only true for the content itself, it's also true for the editors, like myself, and for the software that they're using. Davinci Resolve has been kind of going crazy lately, because it has been getting a lot of traction from a lot of editors, and it has been growing and growing more and more. Meanwhile, other programs like Premiere Pro from Adobe has been shrinking like crazy. And it is no surprise to me that that is what is happening, because Premiere Pro has been dropping in quality significantly ever since Davinci Resolve has popped up. Now, I don't want to make this video just to shit on Adobe, because I still very much like Adobe's products. Premiere Pro was my main video editor for many years. Photoshop is still the program that I use to make the thumbnails for this very YouTube channel. And even programs that I don't use nearly as often and nearly as much as I probably should, Adobe Flash or Animate, whatever you want to call it, they're all very nice, they're all very powerful, they have features and they have tools that are incredibly meaningful to a content creator like me. But the problem is that they are just not that viable to use anymore for most people who want something to rely on. Adobe products are just not as reliable as they once were, and it sucks that that is the case, because Adobe is still a very, very powerful suite of software that I still very much like to use whenever I need to. It's just that Adobe products are just so incredibly broken in so many ways that Adobe just refuses to fix, while it's absolutely necessary for them to do so, because there are a lot of people who still rely on their products. But Adobe just doesn't seem to be focusing on that right now. They are a lot more interested in pushing forward the AI models that they are currently developing than they are about actually fixing the programs that many people like myself rely on. Now, since I stopped editing for Fantasy, I have cancelled my Adobe subscription, and I've only been using abandonware versions of the Adobe programs that I still want to use. For example, the version of Photoshop that I'm currently using is Photoshop CS2, a product that Adobe has long since discontinued and abandoned, and has absolutely no interest in distributing or even offering downloads for to people who bought the product. Photoshop CS2 at this point is considered abandonware, and as such you can install it entirely for free with no issues whatsoever, and I have been using it ever since for that particular reason. My editing software of choice right now is Davinci Resolve, a program that I have been using for quite some time now and am very much enjoying to use to edit my videos in. It took a bit of getting used to, for sure, but it is very, very powerful, and even more powerful, I would argue, than Premiere Pro ever was. It comes with a lot more stuff out of the box. It comes with a lot of presets, a lot of effects, a lot of title presets that I can use and that I have used very often on this channel. And it comes with so much other very cool stuff that I would recommend blindly to anyone looking into content creation. What's even better, Davinci Resolve is available entirely for free. There is a paid version of it if you are interested in that, but it only comes with a paw full of extra features that, let's be honest, most content creators probably don't need them. None of which are really all that important to most content creators, especially someone of my caliber. They're typically features that are quite literally only there to make your life a little bit easier, but I just don't need them. So I am not going to buy the paid version of Davinci Resolve as of right now. If I one day decide that I do want to experiment with a few of the features that the paid version offers, I might actually consider getting that. But for the time being, the free version of Davinci Resolve is perfectly fine for what I need, and it's probably going to be perfectly fine for what you as a content creator need if you are interested in doing this. Now, what has editing inside of Davinci Resolve been like for me as a content creator, as a video editor, etc.? Well, it definitely took a little bit of getting used to, for sure, because I basically had to relearn everything that I once knew about video editing from scratch. When I started using Davinci Resolve, I basically started all the way up here, And now, because I was trying to learn a new editing software, I had to go all the way back down to here. And I very gradually am working my way back up to where I was. And the thing is that process takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of work. But that is just kind of the reality of being a content creator in general. And that is something that I'm all the happy to go through. I like experimenting with this kind of stuff. I like experimenting with all sorts of new and crazy ways to make the content that I want to make. And I also like that Davinci Resolve offers the tools and the presets and everything that I need to make that happen. As we speak, I'm actually working on a video script to do with Davinci Resolve and the whole process of what editing inside of it looks like and all of the features that it has and everything to do with my personal experience with the software, which I think you might find interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I have been using a completely different video editor from what I was using many years, because I felt like just kind of keeping you up to date on what exactly I'm currently working on and what I'm working with, because I don't know, for some bizarre reason, I just thought that that was the right thing to do right now. Anyway, more Koen's Corners are coming up very soon. I have a bunch of ideas cooking up, including that Davinci Resolve video. I'm currently working on the voiceover for the Snow White video that I'm going to make, which is going to be a really interesting video to release. And I am honestly more than a bit terrified of the response that I'm going to get from it. Other than that, there's obviously a lot of other very cool videos that I'm currently working on. So stay tuned for everything that's going to come up. Subscribe to Phoenix Star YT so you won't miss anything that I do. And I will see you creators in the next one.